Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with my round 1 predictions. Well, second round of games of the AFL, but round 0 was the first. So make of that what you will, but it is a Thursday and we are starting off straight into this Carlton Richmond. Now, actually, we'll go over last week. I got 3 right, 1 wrong. Obviously, did not predict Brisbane to lose to Carlton, but hey, let's move on. Carlton Richmond. Richmond have Nate coming back. We have Lynch and Dusty coming back. I do think it'll be a close game. I know Essendon are a much better team, and it is their home ground, but I do think it'll be close. I think Carlton will probably win by around 21 points. They'll just be too strong, but I think Richmond will... They'll make a fight out of it, especially with the ins. So not much to discuss about that game, really. Just about the fact that, you know, obviously Carlton's a way better side, but with the occasion, the rivalry, I would expect Richmond to turn up, especially after last week, how fucking shite we were for 80% of that game. Next game is really hard to predict. Collingwood-Sydney. Collingwood wanting to win, you know, surely they can't go 0-2. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Collingwood to beat Sydney. Now, this is an absolutely phenomenal game because I think Sydney, the hard thing to predict is Sydney's around 0 win over Melbourne. How good of a team are Melbourne first? So we don't know how good the opposition is. And B, how good are Sydney? Was that win over Melbourne, was that an indication that they've beaten a flag potential winning team in Melbourne and Sydney are the real deal? Or are Melbourne this pretty shit team now because of all the culture problems that Sydney should have won by way more, and it's actually disappointing they didn't? It's hard to decide where Sydney are. Collingwood won't go 0-2. So they're going to win this game. I think they'll win it pretty comfortably. I think by around 40 points. Might be a bit much, but I do think Sydney do have fragility there. It'll be cool to see Brodie Grundy once again come up against his old club. He will dominate, I think, because Collingwood don't really have any good rucks. Sorry, there are cars going past, but hey. So let's go Collingwood by 40 points. Next game, another fucking massive game. Big rivalry there. We've got Essendon and Hawthorn, arguably the best rivalry in the AFL history. Line in the sand. Hard game to predict. Essendon do not have Parish, I believe. I think so. Yeah. And Hawthorn, they obviously have all their injury problems. It's honestly a hard one to predict. Once again, this game will be really close, but I do have a tendency to lean towards Essendon winning, despite not having Parish. But if Hawthorn didn't have those injuries, I would tip Hawks. But I'm going to go with Essendon because it is at their home ground. Or it's their home game, sorry. Obviously, MCG home ground for both of them. Next up, we got the GWS Giants against North Melbourne. Giants win this comfortably by around 45 points. Not an absolute massive blowout, but I think it'll be a comfortable win. They're not going to try too hard. Nothing to discuss there. I don't think that game's going to be close. Albeit, I do think North Melbourne are a good team. Geelong-Sydney. Now, St Kilda, sorry. Geelong-St Kilda. I'm recording this Thursday, so there will be laid outs and changes to teams and stuff. At the time of recording, Jack Sinclair is out. He's not playing. So that is tough for St Kilda now. They're missing their best player, arguably one of their best players, in Jack Sinclair. So it's a comfortable Geelong win for me. This one is hard to predict though, because I do think St Kilda have the better list. But the fact it's Geelong's home game, and also the fact that St Kilda don't have Sinclair, I tend to go towards to Geelong, sorry. However, I am yet to predict a home and away team to win. So far I've only gone with 4 home teams. I do think Geelong get over the line. The scoreline's hard because we don't know how good Geelong and St Kilda will be this year. Geelong, they could make the 8. They might drop to bottom 4. St Kilda, I think St Kilda you could more confidently say are towards that sort of 12 to 8 region of team. Like a good team, a solid team. But Geelong's hard to predict. I think Geelong generally start off the year well, so I'm going to go with the Geelong win. Although last year St Kilda started off really well, so it's a little bit difficult to predict. Let's go with Geelong because Sinclair. But if Sinclair was playing, I would have gone with St Kilda. Next up, we have got the Gold Coast Football Club taking on Adelaide. I think the Gold Coast Football Club stink. Adelaide are going to win this game by a comfortable 12 points. Close game. Why did I say comfortable for 12? Doesn't make sense prior in that word, but I just think it'll be one of those games where they're always ahead. Gold Coast never pose a threat. It'll be a great game, but I think Adelaide, and if they're going to be a serious team, Adelaide need to be winning these games. Next up, we've got the Melbourne Football Club taking on the Bulldogs. Really tough. Once again, we don't know how good Melbourne are. I mean, we've had one game with there, but even pre-season, they were up and down. And the Dogs, I mean, they beat Hawthorn in pre-season, but we don't know how good they are either. This is a tough one. This is probably one of the hardest ones of the week to predict. I do think, it'll be a game of midfields. You've got Bontempelli, Libba, McRae taking on Petrarca, taking on Oliver, Viney. I think the ruck battle's amazing as well. You've got Tim English against Max Gawn. So it'll be in the midfield. It's a won or lost in this game, I think. I mean, the issue with both these teams is, well, the issue with Melbourne is their forward line, and the issue with the Dogs is their defence. So, is the game therefore won and lost on if Melbourne can hit the scoreboard? Obviously, the Dogs have some really good forwards, but the D's have a phenomenal defence. So, it won't be high scoring, that's for sure. At least in Melbourne. I think Melbourne win this. I think Melbourne win. That's also on the basis that I don't rate the Dogs that much, but the Dogs I would not be surprised if they well and truly won this match. It just depends how teams react. But I think Oliver, having an extra game under his belt, he should be firing well and truly. So we're going to go with Melbourne there by about, I'm going to go with a close one. We'll go by 3 points. A really close game. Next up, we've got Port Adelaide taking on the West Coast Eagles. Port Adelaide will undoubtedly win this game by 99 points. That's right, an absolute shellacking. It'll be 99 points, not quite 100. 99 points, because I'm 99% sure they'll win. If you simulated this game 100 times, Port Adelaide would win 99 of them. The only time West Coast would win is if Port Adelaide had loads of injuries throughout the game, or something happened. I don't fucking know. That is the easiest game all year to predict. And lastly, this is another difficult one. Fremantle against Brisbane. It is in Perth, so it is Fremantle's home game. But Brisbane cannot go 0-2 if they are genuinely on the hunt for a flag. You just can't go 0-2. So Brisbane absolutely have to win this, and that's why I think they will. Though Fremantle, once again, they do have some good players, but their forward line's just not there. It's a little bit hard to predict. Purely because it's round one, I'll be surprised. I wouldn't be crazy surprised if Freo got over the line. But purely because I think Brisbane have to win this for their season. I know it's only round 1/2, so it doesn't really matter if they lose 2 in a row. But I do think they just have to win. So we're going to go with Brisbane by around 31 points. Comfortable win. So they are my predictions. Just to reiterate, I've gone Carlton winning, Collingwood winning, Essendon winning, Giants beating North Melbourne, Geelong beating St Kilda, all home wins so far. Then a couple away wins. We've got Gold Coast losing to Adelaide at home, Melbourne at home beating the Dogs, Port Adelaide at home beating West Coast, and Brisbane away beating Fremantle. Let me know in the comments what your predictions are. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Follow the TikTok FTFooty. Come on, the Tigs!